Well, cold temps in the forecast later this week, and of course that shouldn't deter you from gardening.
Yeah, especially in a container.
Absolutely.
You know, it's not the easiest. You know, Renee, I know you're fairly new to the desert, but you know, at least in my neighborhood, you try to dig and you hit a rock.
Well, because you're in the mountain.
I know. You know?
Are you with Tony?
You're right.
Are you with Tony this morning?
Yes, of course. I'm with Tony Kozowski this morning, and it's the right time to work on your container garden. So like Troy was saying, you know, it's kind of hard to dig up soil at the moment. It is a little cold, but we've got the best tips. So if you're working with something that you've had for a while, or if you're creating something new, Tony's here to tell us exactly what to do with it. Good morning.
Good morning, Renee. So today what we're going to be doing is actually refurbishing a pot here that has been kind of dormant and needs a little bit of pick-me-up. So what we're going to do today is we're going to add a little bit of compost. That's going to add some microbiology, some fresh organic matter.
Okay.
We're going to add a little bit of this worm casting here, which is another really natural fertilizer. And we're going to go ahead and plant this Swiss chard here, which is a leafy green and a great, really very resilient crop that tolerates the heat well as the cold, like we're having right now. Another thing we can do in containers, this is just a bucket that I put some holes in for drainage.
Nothing fancy here, just a bucket.
Exactly, but it's about 5 gallons here, obviously, and we're going to go ahead and put a tomato in there. One thing I wanted to just remind people is that if you don't have enough soil or space in your pot, you're not going to get a nice, robust plant. Right now, we are experiencing some cold temperatures, so it is going to be a little sensitive for our more warmer crops like the tomatoes. I think on Friday we're going to have 33 degrees in Phoenix. So with that, you'd want to probably bring this inside or at least move it to your close to your home. And that is one of the good things about a container garden is you can pick this up and move it fairly easily.
Okay.
One more thing I really recommend is mulching this stuff here. And that's going to really protect the soil, add some organic matter. I'm just using a wood chip mulch here that Arizona Worm Farm where we're at offers.
Okay.
And that's just about it. You know, the soil mix that we're using here is actually Clark's blend, and it's going to have all the ingredients necessary. One thing I stay away from is actually the bag soil from a lot of big box stores that kind of smells like manure. So that stuff can be kind of harmful to your garden or to your plants.
Okay, so right now what we're saying is that you can start with a brand new pot, which you're recommending even doing in that bucket, or even if you've got one left over that just hasn't been doing all that great, you can kind of readdress that with some nice good soil and some mulching and some other things.
Compost, worm castings, absolutely. I try to stay away from the chemical fertilizers. If there's an OMRI certification on the fertilizer, that means it is good with the Organic Materials Review Institute. And if you're going to use a that's a good organic option for you there.
Okay, Tony, how do people get a hold of you?
You can find me on Instagram at TonyGrowsFood or at growkale.com.
Okay, and of course we're at Arizona Worm Farm this morning. Thank you so much, Tony. You guys, there's so much you can do out here.
Renee?
There's chickens out here. There's all sorts of soils and everything. You asked me a question.
Yeah, the chard. How big will the chard get?
Because it looks so small
Because
in
it'll
that
get
pot.
really big, right?
How big will the Swiss chard get?
This Swiss chard, well, this is about a 3-gallon pot. I would say you could get leaves. This will fill out pretty good. It'll get to the point where you wouldn't be able to see the bottom of the pot here. It'll take a little bit, but Swiss chard, well, you can get some leaves like that. A lot of times I like to cut them off and actually make wraps out of the leaves. But this would be pretty sufficient to grow a nice size
And you just take leaves.
You get a couple dinners out of it.
Just trim it.
You take leaves as you go.
It'll keep producing too.
That's a good idea.
These are great. Tony, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Renee. Yeah, Tony's
Bring
great.
them inside.